Welcome to CBS News 24/7 on this Thanksgiving Day. I'm Tom Hansen. The search for answers is underway after a gunman opened fire, critically wounding 2 National Guard members in Washington. This was the scene Wednesday afternoon after the 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard were shot just blocks from the White House in an ambush-style attack. FBI Director Kash Patel says 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf are both in critical condition. Here's what we know right now. The suspect has been identified as Rahmanullah Lakanwal, an Afghan national. He entered the U.S. in 2021 and was granted asylum this year. Lakanwal previously worked with the U.S. government, including the CIA, as a member of a partner force in Kandahar. That job ended following the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. And this morning, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro said it was too early to know a motive. The suspect will be charged with assault with intent to kill.
We will hold this perpetrator accountable under the full weight of the law. Our nation's capital should not and must not be a place where evil comes to commit violence, whatever their cause or motive may be.
All right, CBS News Homeland Security and Justice correspondent Nicole Sganga is in our Washington bureau. Nicole, good to see you as always. So get us up to speed. What are we learning about the investigation?
Hi, Tom. Good to see you. Officials say the case is being treated as a terrorism investigation. It's being led by the FBI, and agents have launched what they're calling a coast-to-coast probe that includes multiple search warrants, witness interviews, and evidence recovery across several states, according to FBI Director Patel. Now, a search warrant was executed overnight at the suspect's residence in Bellingham, Washington State, where investigators say they seized cell phones, laptops, iPads, and other digital material that is already under forensic review by the FBI. All the individuals located inside that home were interviewed, with further questioning to be expected, according to Patel. Now, leads from those interviews in Washington State also prompted some interviews in San Diego, according to the FBI director, who also says authorities are now analyzing the firearm that was used here, and they're canvassing blocks near the crime scene here in D.C. to expand their search to associates here in the United States and also abroad.
So it sounds like a patchwork is beginning to come into place as for the profile of the suspect. What do we know about the suspect, Nicole?
Yeah, in terms of the profile of the suspect, Tom, the alleged gunman, his name is Rahmanullah Lakanwal, and he's a 29-year-old Afghan national who entered the United States in September of 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome. Authorities say that he traveled from Washington State to Washington, D.C., across the country by car, and allegedly intended to target the nation's capital. He was armed with a revolver and, according to investigators, fired what they said without provocation, including shooting one victim after leaning over them on the ground. Just a horrific scene. The suspect remains hospitalized under guard after an armed guardsman returned fire, and several other guardsmen subdued him. And we are told that he is not cooperating with investigators at this time.
And speaking of hospitalized, obviously the 2 victims here, what is the latest on their condition?
Yeah, the wounded soldiers have been identified as 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf, both members of the West Virginia National Guard. Officials say they were ambushed while they were patrolling. They were stationed near the Farragut West Metro on Thanksgiving Eve. Both are in critical condition in the hospital after surgery, and their families are now with them there. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro really emphasized the gravity of the situation, warning that if either of these soldiers does not survive, the case could become a homicide prosecution.
Yeah, and Nicole, just turning back to Lakanwal for a second, obviously you mentioned that investigators are piecing together the specifics on the timeline, but obviously there is significant motivation for someone to drive across the country, if they're willing to do that drive. Do we know what possible charges he may face?
Yeah, the suspect currently faces 3 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed, along with another charge for possession of a firearm during a crime of violence. Prosecutors say he faces up to 15 years on the assault counts alone, with additional charges that could come depending on new evidence and the victim's medical outcomes here, too. The U.S. Attorney's Office said it's prepared to elevate this case to murder 1, first-degree murder, if either soldier dies from their injuries. stories. And in that case, we also heard from Attorney General Pam Bondi this morning on Fox News, and she says that she is prepared, if that happens, to pursue the death penalty. So some very, very serious charges here. And we heard U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro telling reporters this morning that this man chose the wrong city, that the suspect chose the wrong country, and Mayor Muriel Bowser calling this an attack on the United States.
Yeah, officials across the board certainly not mincing words here. Nicole Sganga, we know you'll stay on top of things. Thank you.
Thank you.